Hello guys and welcome to my Harry Potter and Gryffindor inspired makeup look. Hopefully I will have more looks on the other houses as well, but I decided to start with Gryffindor as I'm a Gryffindor. And to start with, I just primed my eyelids with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer and set it with a cream colored eyeshadow which was from the Morphe 35B palette. To start this eye look, I just map out the shape that I wanted to follow with a Bobbi Brown blush that has the name Berry. Interesting description, the way I went around with this sentence, but never mind, you understand what I mean nonetheless. As a next step, I take a fluffier brush and I reach for my Juvia's Place Mini Magic palette and I use the shade Kogi to blend the blush out, and it's just a nice red shade, but because I use that burgundy berry shade under it, it seems a bit darker. And then I take a clean fluffy brush to blend it out, and I keep repeating this process till I'm happy with the result. As you can see, again I go back with the smaller brush and the berry shade. Every time I use this small brush, I basically use the berry blush. And again, I just keep going back and forth between the brushes and the shades till I get to a point where I'm happy. And then just to have a nice clean base in the middle of my eyes, I use the tiniest bit of concealer. Sort of as like when you do a halo eye, even though I didn't, but I still decided to give it a nice clean base. Then I reach for a small flat brush, as you can see, and I go back in the Bobbi Brown Berry Blush just to sort of blend out the edges so there's not gonna be any harsh lines. Next, I reach for a cream product, which is the Illamasqua Liquid Metal in the shade Gold, and initially I went in with a brush, but then I decided to pat it out with my finger again just to soften all the edges. I didn't want any harsh lines, and then I patted a Becca eyeshadow on top of it, which is the shade Gilded from the Volcano Goddess palette. And I just went back in with the tiny brush again just to blend out the edges so it's all nice and soft. For my eyeliner, I used the AMC eyeliner from Inglot, which is a gel eyeliner, and it's the shade 79. Unfortunately, they don't have names, but it's just quite a deep red, which I know at the moment looks quite vibrant, but trust me, it's quite a deep red color. You will see it later once my light adjusts itself finally. And then I decided to go back in with another Inglot eyeliner, which is a liquid eyeliner in the shade Silver, although to me it always seems gold, but it's a lot more cool toned than the one I used on my eyelid, and I decided to give a frame to the eyeliner as it reminded me of the snitch a little bit that Harry always manages to catch, and I quite liked it. Next, you can see me massaging in my primer, which on that day was the Smashbox Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer, and I just used my fingers to apply this all over my face. And then I go in with the Becca Skin Lab Foundation in the shade Cashmere, and I just use a flat kabuki brush to blend it in. And you can always go back in and build it up like I did if you feel like you need a bit more coverage. For concealer, I used the Cult Classic Collection Lasting Perfection Concealer. And if I'm not mistaken, I use the shade Fair. And I like to use the same foundation brush just to pat it into the skin. Then to set it all, I reached for my NYX Pro Contour and Highlight palette and just the lightest shade. I just used absolutely the smallest amount to set my base. Then to contour slash blush, as you can see it will be quite a strong look. I went back in with the same Bobbi Brown blush that we used for the eyes, but then also to soften it out a little bit, I used a few shades from the Revolution Ultra Blush palette in the shade Sugar and Spice. So you have about 8 shades in that palette, and I just used some of the lighter ones and the pinkier one as well to blend out the Bobbi Brown one. And you can see that now moving on to highlighter, and for that I used the Rainbow Glow highlighter from Essence, which is in the shade Be a Unicorn, which is basically, just as the name suggests, is a rainbow colored highlighter. And then I go over it with the blush brush again as well, just to make sure I blend it in everywhere. And I apply the tiniest of blush on my nose as well, just to tie it all in. When it comes to my eyebrows, I just first brush them through with a spoolie, and then to fill them in I use the NYX Tame and Frame Brow Pomade in the shade Espresso, and I just try to fill them in as good as possible, and I like my eyebrows quite strong. Then we move back to the lower lash line, and I use the same Bobbi Brown shade, and then just take a fluffy brush and blend it out. Then moving on to mascara, I used the Too Faced Better Than Sex, which is my absolute favorite, so of course I had to use it for this look as well. And I decided not to apply any false eyelashes, just so it doesn't cover my eyeliner. For the lips, I used another NYX product, which is the Slide On Glide On Lip Pencil in the shade Brick House. Oh, and then I also applied the same Inglot gel eyeliner in my waterline. Then to top off that NYX Brick House lip liner, I also used the Kat Von D Everlasting Liquid Lipstick in the shade Double Dare. And I applied the tiniest bit of the Illamasqua gold shade that we used earlier on the lids. And I also took a spoolie and ran through the same gold shade through my hair, since it's a creamy product, just to make sure that there's a little bit of it all over, because if you're a Gryffindor you might as well have a bit of gold in your hair, why not? Let me tell you though, it was a pain to wash out, so you might not want to do that unless it's an actual product for the hair. And that's it. That's the finished look. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did, and if you did, please don't forget to give this video a like and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. But for now I'm gonna go. Let me know what you thought of this look and what would you like to see next, which house should I work on. But for now I'm gonna go. I hope you have a really lovely day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye. Oh, that's so cute! Okay, I can't cry in a video, come on. Oh, if you could see my legs, it's full of gold paint and it's not coming off. Oh no, how is it gonna come out of my hair? Oh, Illamasqua, what are you doing to me? Oh, there might be some on my chair too. Oh dear, and my hands. It's not coming off. Oh dear. It's a bit of a problem. Oh no.